In this episode of the Courageous Public Health Podcast, Ashley Carter, registered dietitian, co-founder of Eat Well Exchange, and unapologetic foodie, shares how courage has shaped her path from youngest child to first in her family to leave home for college, and from secure government job to full-time nonprofit founder. She talks about building Eat Well Exchange to teach communities how to eat healthy with cultural foods that feel like home, and what it took to trust herself enough to let the boats get close and finally make the leap. Ashley reflects on what it means to be a Black dietitian in a field that's only 2.7% Black, how she navigates being the only one in professional spaces without feeling responsible for representing everyone, and why she's choosing generational health, joy, and authenticity over rigid ideas of professionalism. She shares a vision for public health where communities lead the work, culture is centered, not erased, and women's leadership and well-being are seen as essential to everyone's health. You're listening to the Courageous Public Health Podcast, episode 39. To all the courageous women leading in public health, this podcast is your space to turn up the volume on your courage. This space centers your voice. This space celebrates your passion. This space amplifies your courage. My role? To listen, to amplify, and to stand with you in the fight for equity. My name is Dr. Christy McClamrock. I am an epidemiologist, consultant, the founder and CEO of Courageous Public Health, and the host of the Courageous Public Health Podcast. Each week, I have real, unfiltered conversations with women in public health about the challenges you face, the power you hold, and your vision for the future. We talk about the authenticity, vulnerability, and courage that you bring, not just to public health, but to every part of your lives. Because courage is about action, even in fear. It's about taking up space, leading unapologetically, refusing to be erased, and knowing you never have to do it alone. If you're ready to turn up the volume on your courage, if you're ready to take up space, if you're ready to smash the racist, patriarchal, cisnormative, heteronormative, ableist, capitalistic systems, then listen to this new episode. Hello. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Dr. Christy McClamrock. I'm the CEO of Courageous Public Health. We support public health organizations with tailored workshops, facilitation, and speaking engagements, all about courage. I cannot wait for you to meet my guest. I'm going to read you her bio, and then we'll get going. Ashley Carter, MSRD, is an experienced registered dietitian and community advocate with over a decade of experience in nutrition and public health. She is the co-founder and program director of Eat Well Exchange, Inc., where she leads culture-centered nutrition initiatives rooted in equity, access, and community voice. Ashley has a strong track record of working in low-income communities and facilitating DEI-informed trainings that center lived experience and cultural relevance. She's also a skilled business development professional, bridging mission-driven work with sustainable organizational growth. Her work is grounded in the belief that nutrition is the most effective when it honors culture, context, and community. Are you ready to be inspired by courage? Let's go. Hi, everybody. It is my pleasure today to introduce Ashley Carter. Welcome here, Ashley.
Hi, Dr. Christy. Thank you for having me.
It's absolutely my pleasure. I'm really excited to talk to you. We got to do our shout out. We got to do our shout out to the person who introduced us. You want to do it?
We have to. Yes. Big shout out to Dr. Pascal. She's actually my friend from college, and now we're colleagues. We work together all of the time. She does my public health evaluations for my nonprofit. So
that's amazing.
College friends too.
Oh
yes,
my gosh.
Colleagues.
Okay. So where was that? We should give a shout out to wherever you met in college.
Florida State University.
Fantastic.
I feel it's the best university in Florida. So
I mean, that is great. Like totally. Oh my gosh, I love that you've known each other that long and now you get to work together. It's like
yes,
such a small world in some ways. Very cool.
It is. And for me, that always means a lot to be able to work with the people that you like. When the
Oh my
people you like
gosh.
can do great things.
If we only had to work with the people that we like,
life will be good.
the world would be a definitely a better place.
Yes.
But we probably wouldn't get all the things done that we need to get done. So
that part.
Yeah, that part. So yeah, I want to start by having you introduce yourself to our listeners.
My name is Ashley Carter, born and raised in sunny South Florida. I'm an avid beach goer. I go to the beach more than I like to tell people that I do. So I keep a beach blanket in my back seat at all times. Something fun about me is I'm always doing something new. I started doing tennis lessons this year. Last year, I learned how to roller skate. I did compa lessons before that, which is a Haitian style of dance. So I'm always doing something new to stay active and just to have a good time. I'm also a foodie. So I'm a dietitian by trade, but I always tell people I'm a foodie right after because I like to eat really, really good food.
Really, really good Haitian food?
Well, all foods. I'm actually not of Haitian descent, so learning the Haitian dance style was just something fun. I just took salsa lessons before too. I'm all over the place. But
Here I am making an assumption. Check out my assumptions.
Well, it's okay because I did say I learned a Haitian style of dance. So usually people learn the dances of their culture.
But I love that
I just do everything.
Yeah, like I love that you do everything. You do it all. Fantastic. You love to try new things. I mean, that's what you said. And roller skating, that's impressive. That's impressive.
I'm not good. I always give that disclaimer.
Okay.
I'm not good at the things I try, but I just try the things.
In my head, you're like going around the roller rink and you're backwards and you're like dancing around in my mind.
Yeah. That's what it looks like in my mind too. But in actuality, that's not what it looks like.
That's not what it looks like. That's okay. That's okay. In fact, that is that sounds very courageous. So let's.
Yes, that is courageous.
Yes. Roller skating. That's awesome. And you're learning as an adult. Did you know how to roller skate when you were a kid?
No.
Okay.
I'm the youngest.
Right there.
I'm the youngest child, so I feel like for my older siblings, they did a lot of the great things. Like my sister learned how to play every instrument. She took singing lessons. She did everything. Same for my older brother. He did all of the fun sports. And then by the time that it got down to me, my mom was like, all right, just go to school. Just go to school. Come on. So I think she got all of that out of her system. So for me, I really didn't learn a lot of I didn't do a lot of the fun things like that.
I mean, you get
so now as an adult, I'm trying to do those things.
I think that's so incredibly great. Yes. Yes to doing the fun things even as an adult, especially as an adult. Great. Well, I want to get right to our first question, which is about your courage. And I always like to remind listeners that bravery is about taking action without fear, and courage is really about taking action despite fear. So I would love to hear some examples from your professional life, your personal life, when you acted courageously.
Well, when I think about courage, exactly the definition you said, it's like when you're uncertain about what's going to happen, but you're like, let me do this anyway.
Yes.
So the biggest example that I have is I was working for the government as a dietitian for 10 years. And I had a pretty good job. Everything was great. Nothing dramatic happened. But I started a nonprofit about 5 years prior. And I just really wanted to go all in. I wanted to just make this nonprofit something really, really big. And I knew the only way to do that is by leaving my job because my nonprofit was becoming very demanding. And just, the nonprofit is Eat Well Exchange. So registered dietitian, teaching communities to eat healthy of cultural foods. And the courageous act was to leave. I decided to leave my job full time with my secure salary and everything to just figure it out, which sounds very scary because we know as adults, we have adult bills, we have other responsibilities, but I just believed everything will work out. I just truly believe that if I take this leap, things are going to work out and everything will be fine. And here we are. I left my job 2022. So now we're, 3 years later and everything is going great, exponentially better than it was then, better than I could have ever imagined. So yes, that was that leap that just kind of really told me that it was a great decision and that I'm grateful that I made that choice.
That just makes me so happy. I mean, to hear that. That's a big step. I mean, it's a big transition. And it sounds like you figured it out. You figured it out. You figured out how to make it work. And you made it work.
Right. And there were some bumps along the way. So I never go to friends and say, like, quit that job. Like, I don't do that. My goal is to keep my job as long as possible until I felt like I can make that jump, like make sure that the boats get close enough from jumping from one to another.
Right.
But still, there's bumps, but so everything's been going great.
That's a great analogy of like letting the boats, you don't have to jump when they're 100 feet away from each other, but when they're 2 feet away from each other, then you can do it. Then it's worth the leap. That's great. Yes. Really wonderful. And tell me a little bit tell me a little bit more about your nonprofit organization, because that's interesting to me as someone who
definitely
had a nonprofit organization at one time. So yeah, tell me a little more about that.
Yes. So Eat Well Exchange, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We're based in Miami, Florida, and also in Raleigh, North Carolina. And we teach communities how to eat healthy with cultural foods. So thinking about the foods your grandma would make for you, your favorite aunt or uncle, thinking about those really good foods, and then finding ways for those foods to be a part of your diet now. The reason why we started Eat Well is because as dietitians, specifically for me being a Black dietitian, we're only 2.7% of our profession. So with that being said, 80% of our profession is, white women, only 3% Hispanic, like they're very small numbers. So with that being said, we don't learn about cultural foods at all when it comes to like the African diaspora. So we wanted to teach people from different places how they can eat healthy using foods that are familiar to them. And the goal is that you can keep those healthy changes because it's familiar, it's fun, it's easy, it tastes good. So it's not that hard to convince somebody to do it.
Yeah. I mean, what you're talking about is like food that makes you feel like home, right? And
yes.
Yes. That's
right.
So,
when we say culture.
Important. Yeah.
Yes. When we say culture, that's the first word that comes to mind, home. Because sometimes home is a family member. Other times it's a geographical location. It could be a time. Maybe it's your college years feel like home. That's your culture.
Yeah.
So really taking those foods, hopefully not the college foods, because they're usually pretty.
Yeah. College foods weren't
pretty questionable.
In general, great. Yes.
In general.
Yeah. No, but sometimes home can just be a meal that you cook for yourself and for your family. That's a really lovely, model for a nonprofit organization. Yeah. I know we talked before we hit record also about the courage of being the youngest in your family. So tell me a little more about that. The courage of being the youngest sibling.
So anyone that has siblings, you know that when it comes to your family dynamic, the oldest usually kind of like trailblazes their way through. The middle kids, they just figure things out. And the youngest is the baby of the family. So the youngest typically follows the path that the other siblings have already laid out. So I was actually the first one from my family to go off to college. So I went to college about 7.5 hours away from Miami to Tallahassee, Florida. And it was very scary for my family because they were like, wait, no one has gone off to college. What are you doing? You're going to go out and live on your own. All my other siblings still lived at home. Like, so it was like, wait, what are you doing? So for me, that was that moment where it's like, I don't know what I'm doing, honestly, but I believe in myself. I believe that I have a purpose and this purpose is outside of these doors. And I just went for it. And it was very scary. My dad tried to convince me the entire way up that I don't have to stay.
Yep.
But I'm glad that I did. And I feel like I truly developed as a person because, again, being the youngest child, I just followed my sister around all the time, which I still do now because we're best friends. But still, it allowed me to make my own path, to make my own friends, and even to make my own identity and just say, like, who is Ashley when she's not at home? Or who is Ashley when she's not with the childhood friends that she had? And a lot of times we don't have that opportunity until we remove ourselves from our comfort zone.
Yes. I the idea of like needing to go outside of your comfort zone, like that's where the growth happens. Like there's no growth in the comfort zone.
Right.
But there's growth outside of the comfort zone, which doesn't mean that you have to go, so far out that you're falling apart. But it's like, take a step outside of your comfort zone. And then all this, you get all this growth and change. So that's, that's great. So I wanted to also ask you about expressing power. So just this idea that courage is also about authenticity and claiming and expressing your power. And I think this is particularly true in spaces that don't always welcome it.
Right.
So how do you express and embody your courage? And just thinking about maybe some of the challenges that you faced in doing that and how you've navigated them.
Well, when I think about like expressing my power, I think about just showing up as myself. And also reminding myself that I don't have to be the representative for any group. So like, as an example, if I walk into a room and there's only men there, I'm not showing them like I'm the voice of every woman. It's like, no, this is the voice of Ashley. And the same in my field. A lot of times people look at me like, whoa, you're the only Black dietitian I've ever met. But I let them know like, hey, these are my feelings. These are my foods. These are things I like. But if you talk to somebody else, it may be different. So I think there's so much power in just like being authentically yourself and also reminding yourself that you can represent a group without being the representative of that group.
Oh, I like that distinction. That's a great distinction. I don't know if I've ever thought of that before. That's
right. And that happens a lot. That happens a lot because a lot of times now you have to hold this big microphone and make these big statements. And it's like, no, I just want to speak for myself. And I think that's also powerful to say that. And it doesn't mean that I don't care about other people or that I don't, it just means that I don't want to take on that responsibility because it's huge. And it's also huge. For me, like, I express my power by sticking to my why and just reminding myself that, at Eat Well Exchange, we teach communities to eat healthy. We do cooking classes. We do gardening classes. And all of this is prevent health disparities and lower socioeconomic communities. And if someone comes to me and they have an idea that I should now start a program about food safety and security, it's like, well, about food safety, it's like, okay, food safety is important, but that's not my mission. So just always knowing my why, so that way I stay in that clear path and I can pick things up along the way. But as long as it aligns with my why, that's always important to me.
Yeah. And if somebody, thinks that there needs to be, something about food security, then let's like create space for the person for whom that is their why gets to come in and take ownership of that, it's a lot to, I can imagine that if you walk into the room and you're the only Black dietitian or the only Black woman, that can feel very heavy.
Right. And I'll tell you, that happens all the time. And I don't get offended by it because I know that people that talk to me want to learn. And when I go to conferences, if I'm the only Black woman there, the other dietitians, they're like asking me questions because they want to serve their community better.
Yes.
So I don't get offended by it, but I also remind them like, hey, this is how I think. I'm born in Miami, Florida. My family's from Bahamas and Trinidad. So these are my foods. But the other co-founder of Eat Well, Jasmine, she's from Memphis, Tennessee. So her cultural foods are different than my cultural food. She's
Okay.
eating barbecue and chow chow and all
Yeah.
of that. And I'm eating, growing up eating oxtail and goat and all these other foods that were common to me. So I always
Yeah.
explain, like, I know you want to learn, like, you're coming from a good place,
Yeah.
but just know I'm giving you a snippet and you have to keep meeting more people and keep talking to more people to get the
Right.
rest of that puzzle.
Great. Okay. So, Ashley, I am very excited to hear from you about your vision. Um, I think that, vision is what helps us figure out when we need to be courageous, right? We get to be courageous to move towards our vision. So, I want to hear from you about your vision for public health. And, you're doing the work of public health, whether or not you identify as a public health professional or public health worker. Do you identify as a public health?
I do.
You do. You do.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yeah. So your vision for public health and then of course we'll end on your personal vision for your own future, which, I hope is going to have something to do with more roller skating, but we'll get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my personal vision my vision for public health is a lot of community-centered programming. So a lot of times when programs come into communities, it's not the community members, it's not with people that they trust. So at Eat Well Exchange, we're very big on, so I guess it's not the future, this is now. But
your
with
vision
Eat Well
for
Exchange,
now.
with Eat Well Exchange, we're very big on including the community members that we're serving. Like I mentioned, I'm not of Haitian descent, but we do have a Haitian culinary program. So I'm not the face of that program.
Right.
I support that program and the community members that teach. And I think just seeing more of that is beneficial. And also just tying in culture to everything. Because again, those foods we like, the music we like, the people that we're comfortable with, all of that matters. And I can tell you as a dietitian, there was only 1 or 2 classes that even mentioned cultural foods. For my master's degree, one of my mentors, actually, my professor, Dr. Ruth, she put in every assignment, what culture are you speaking to? And I remember that blew our mind because you don't think about that. You just make a pamphlet. You just make a program. Right. But she made us put for everything that we did, who are you speaking to? And then that really challenged me a lot because I was like, okay, as a public health professional, I can't design everything for Black women. It's like, yes, we need things, but at the end of the day, there's other groups that need services too. So the same thing for my other counterparts. Like if they're a Hispanic woman, they typically design programming for Hispanic people, and the same for white women and everyone else. So that really challenged us as a group because it showed us that a lot of times we're designing programs and we don't even think about the person it's being designed for.
Which is,
I know it sounds so
crazy
obvious.
when you
like,
say it, but
do.
Yeah. I mean, I know how that happens. Like I shouldn't say I know how it happens, but I know that it happens. I have experienced that as well. And it's like, it's so, I mean, it's so obvious.
Right. And also another part of my vision for the future is just women, taking more leadership roles. A lot of times when it comes to public health, when it comes to just different fields within public health, a lot of times women are not in those positions. So I do see a future where more women, we're very educated, we're very talented, we're very logical. So more women in positions of power and in positions of influence because we truly can, help save the world. Again, it's not our responsibility, but we can take part in that.
We get to take part in that.
We do. And then also for me, long-term is just generational health. So a lot of times you focus on generational wealth, but for me, it's generational health because all of this means nothing if you're not in good health. So just making people, putting people in situations where it's easier for them to be healthy, where there's a walking trail, where there's a grocery store, where there's a dietitian, where there's other public health professionals they have access to, that can help them get that information. And then again, pass those healthy habits down to your kids, your
Yeah.
neighbors, pass them
Yep.
up to grandparents and everything.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, that's great. And, I was thinking when you were saying that there aren't a lot of women in leadership roles, and that's true. There are a lot of women in public health.
Yes.
The majority of the people in public health, I think, are women. The majority of the people in, I'm assuming, like, the dietitians and
Right.
around like nutritional sciences are probably women.
Yes.
We already know that people who end up being racialized that's the majority, right? It's someone that I
Right.
interviewed said, they like to talk about the global majority. And it's like, yes. So why is it not proportionate?
Right.
Right? The leadership should be proportionate at the very
Right.
least. At the very least.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great,
Right.
that's a great piece of your vision, like to have that as part of the vision, right?
Definitely, yes.
I like that a lot.
And then when it comes to personal,
Yeah.
this may sound simple, but to be more of myself. And what I mean by that is whenever you're a business owner, whenever you're a professional, I am Ashley Carter, co-founder of Eat Well, registered dietitian. But like, even when you ask me like, who are you? It's like our first thing to do is throw out these titles and accolades and all of that, because,
Yeah.
that's what we have to do in our professions. But it's like when you dig through all of that, who is Ashley?
Yeah.
So I will say, like, to kind of lean more into that for my future and just kind of allow myself to explore more, to play, to color, to dance, to do all of those things that allow me just to be without being attached to a role or a description or a job or labor. Like, I just want to dance, to skate, to play tennis, to do all these fun things and allow that to be Ashley just as much as being a dietitian is being Ashley too.
Oh, Ashley, that's beautiful. I mean, and that's exactly what I wanted to create with this podcast, was a space where we can talk about public health, but we also, everybody gets to show up as their full selves, as much of their full selves as they want to bring. And, I think that when people are able to, have the professional and the personal, I mean, honestly, separating them it's a artifact, right? Like it's not even a real,
Right.
you can't separate parts of you, right? We're not
Right.
robots. And so that's really it's really powerful and even, revolutionary to be like, actually, I get to bring all these different parts of me, including like all the parts of my culture, and be authentic. And then that is, that's where I think so much of our strength lies.
Right. And also like redefining professionalism too, because if I'm at a board meeting and I'm like, I like to skate, everyone's looking like, whoa, what's wrong with her? But it's like, no, you guys should be okay with me saying more about myself compared to just, who I am. And I think we all would be happier if we created more spaces where we can just share what we are and who we like.
And you know what? Who decided what is professional? I'm pretty sure that whole concept came from systems of oppression. The idea that something is that something is professional, which implies that then everything else is unprofessional. I mean, it's such a ridiculous.
Exactly. It is. It really and truly it is. And
so
it just
stupid.
Yeah. But now we know we can rewrite those things.
Yeah. Yes.
And define our own professionalism and our own standards when it comes to how we conduct ourselves and what we deem as being professional.
Yeah. Yeah. I've, just a handful of times in my life have I been to a meeting where, like a woman is breastfeeding. It's like, yes,
right.
This is the meeting that I want to be at. Right. Like, or somebody's kid is on the floor coloring. I love that you said you want to play and you want to explore and you want to color and you want to dance. Yes. Oh my gosh.
And this is like perfect timing. You don't understand, because I was walking this morning. And again, even with that, it's like I have so much stuff to do. My to-do list is so long, but I was like, I don't care. I'm going to go for a walk out in the sun and like really soak this sun up. And while I was on my walk, I was thinking about things that make me happy. And I was like going through that list, and it's like dancing makes me happy. All of these things. And again, I remind people, I'm not good at these things. If you see me out dancing, I might be offbeat. Okay. But that doesn't matter. It makes me happy. I think sometimes we focus on what we're good at and not always what brings us joy. So I really went through that list of like, here's the things that make me happy and how can I fit this into my day every single day of my life? You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely this really ties in with that conversation I had with myself this morning about just,
beautiful,
you know, finding your happy and just like, you know, boldly chasing it and being courageous about choosing happiness over this to-do list that's like staring at me on my desk right now.
Yes. We will get to the things on the to-do list, but you know, like create joy is like needs to be at the top of the to-do list.
And I do want to add that, yes, I did go for a walk longer than I expected this morning. But when I came home, I took my shower and I got to it. And I was so much more productive. I was so much more happier in the cause. I'm smiling and I'm doing things. So it's like, that's a great trade-off to give myself an hour to go for a walk around the lake that I live by and then come back and I'm like excited to do things. It's worth it. So for anybody listening, if you're debating if it's worth it to give yourself that 30 minutes or that hour, take it. Because now the rest of your day, you're going to have an extra pep in your step. I came home, made myself a nice little breakfast. Like if I wouldn't have went for that walk, I just would have crammed and just worked and been miserable right now. So, you know, it's a small investment, you know, when it comes to your time, but the reward is instant.
And enormous.
It is.
And it has ripple effects, right? Because when then you come on this podcast and you share about your walk this morning and how good it made you feel, that it like transmits to all of our listeners, and it certainly like inspires me, and you know, like
definitely
leaning into joy. Wow, that's more of that, please, for all of us. Well, thank you so much. This has been a really fun conversation, and I really appreciate you being here. I want to make sure that our listeners know the best way to connect with you. What is that? What are your thoughts about that?
Yes, definitely. And thank you for having me on this podcast and even creating this space for us to be humans, for us to be ourselves, and to just talk about, you know, courage and talk about power and how we plan for the future to be and how we plan for the future of public health to look like. So I truly appreciate this conversation. It was great talking to you, Dr. Christy.
Thank you so much. So tell me about the best way for listeners to connect.
The best way to get in contact with me is through Instagram. Our nonprofit page is Eat Well Exchange. And also I have my personal page, which is Ashley V Nutrition. So on Eat Well, you're going to see all of our community programs, virtual and in person. We do operate in different states as well. So if you're in different places, we may be coming to your city. And then on Ashley V Nutrition, I post lots of practical tips. I eat an avocado every day, which is kind of funny. And I always eat it in different ways. So that's something fun to see. And I go out. I'm very social. I travel a lot. So I give lots of tips when it comes to how to navigate a busy social life and also being very healthy. Well, healthy, my gosh, not very healthy.
Being healthy.
There's a difference.
There's a difference. I have just been like playing around with Instagram. I've kind of been afraid of it for a number of years. But I will absolutely go and follow you and look for your tips and your different ways to eat avocado. Can I tell you my favorite way to eat an avocado?
Yes.
This is just a quick little anecdote here at the end. I was fortunate enough to get to do my dissertation work in Madagascar. And
Cool.
I remember on one of my trips there, we were given these giant Madagascar avocados, and they were
Mhm.
cut in half, and the pit was removed, and they were sprinkled with sugar, and it was
What?
dessert. It was
Huh.
dessert. It was this like incredible, not like an avocado I've ever had, probably closest to like a reed avocado maybe, which are a
Mhm.
little bit like smoother. But yeah,
Right.
it was literally avocado with sugar sprinkled on it for
Huh.
dessert. And I was like, I love this.
Well, you know what? I've never had that, but I do make an avocado pudding. So it's pretty much just avocado, cocoa powder, and you can add a little bit of brown sugar or whichever sugar that you choose. So I'm
Yes.
like, I'm getting it. And
That's
the benefit, of
yeah.
course, this is the dietitian hat.
Yeah.
Avocados are very high in potassium. So more potassium than a banana, which is good for your heart health as well and good for lowering your
Yeah.
cholesterol. So avocados
Yes.
they're that deal.
They're
Oh,
that
and I
deal.
did want to share,
Yeah.
everyone, like you mentioned, is not on Instagram, but we do have a
Yeah.
YouTube channel as well.
Oh,
So on
great.
YouTube, yes, Eat Well
Okay.
Exchange. We post
Okay.
lots of good recipes. We post our programs. Then I have
Fantastic.
Facebook and
Yeah.
LinkedIn. LinkedIn,
Okay.
I'm a little bit harder to find since my name is so common. But if you
Yeah.
look up Eat Well Exchange, you can usually find me as Ashley Carter.
Beautiful. And we will
I'm
put all
everywhere.
of those links in the show notes page, and it'll be easy for people to get in touch with you in all of those places. So fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Yep. I'm already excited to get some recipes from you.
Thank you.
Yes.
It
Yes.
was so
Okay.
great talking with you.
Great to talk to you as well. We'll be in touch.
All right. Bye.
Sometimes courage is being the youngest in your family and still choosing a different path. Sometimes courage is leaving the security of a good job to build something that serves your community. Sometimes courage is choosing joy, going for the walk, lacing up the skates, dancing offbeat, even when your to-do list is shouting at you. Ashley Carter reminds us that courage is saying yes to what brings you alive and no to everything that pulls you away from your purpose. If this conversation with Ashley resonated with you, I'd love for you to help more people find it. Take a moment to rate and leave a review for the Courageous Public Health podcast on your favorite listening platform. It really does make a difference in helping other public health professionals discover these stories. And make sure you're following or subscribed so you don't miss future episodes. Thanks so much for being here. Until next time, stay courageous. Thank you for listening to the Courageous Public Health podcast. Visit courageouspublichealth.com to find the show notes for each episode and learn how to connect with us.